So we're going to make a screw, not like one of the previous ones we've done, not like a bolt, but we're going to do like a wood screw, the drywall screw, a screw that we would use to screw into a board. And so we're going to go with a new part, and we're going to change to millimeters, and we're going to create a 3 millimeter shaft that is 19 millimeters long from the front view. So we're going to go normal to the front view, Extrude Boss with a circle. We're going to dimension that at 3 millimeters. Exit that, and we're going to say it's 19 millimeters long. Okay. We are then going to I think we have to be in a sketch for converting entities. So I single clicked on the face of this, went to sketch, and then I'm going to go convert entities. And once I click on convert entities, I'm going to go Extrude Boss. Yeah, it's going to just it'll take that same sketch and it'll allow us to build off of it this direction. And we're going to say that this is going to be we're going to go 7 millimeters long, and we're going to say that the degree, the angle at which we're going to taper it, we're going to taper that down at like 12 degrees. And we're going to put a point on the end of that. I'm now going to go back to this face here, and I'm going to do a sketch. And I'm going to convert entities here as well. And I'm also going to do Extrude Boss on that face. This one's only going to be 3. And my angle is going to be 30 degrees. And notice how it's pointed like that. I don't want it to go inwards. I want it to go outwards. So I'm sending the draft outwards. And we're going to check mark that looks all right. However, a screw doesn't have a straight shaft like this. It has a rounded shaft as we come down this direction. So we're actually going to fillet this little ring right here. We're going to fill it with the radius of 68. And I'm going to click on this ring right here. And check. So that gives us more of a tapered look to our screw. Let's cut the fillet's head, the hex head in the top here. So let's go to this face. We'll go normal 2, and I'm going to start by drawing a couple of center lines. So I'm going to go sketch, center line. And I'm just going to drag my mouse up here until it's in line with the center. And then click, drag straight down, and click. Hit escape. And I'm going to go back to the center line, hang out, and come over to the edge, click, drag it straight through, and click. Escape again. And I just need a reference, a center line reference for that. And so we're going to make a couple of rectangles, and we're going to do corner rectangles. And I'm just going to estimate kind of like this. And I'm going to dimension these. The top edge of this is going to be 1. And the length of this is going to be 4.5. Okay. I'm done with dimensioning. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to single click on the top of this edge. Single click. I'm going to hold the control key down now, and I'm going to single click on this edge. And I want those two, under properties, I want those two to be equal. And what it'll do, it'll adjust this one to be the same as this one. Okay. Now I'm going to single click on this side, and I'm going to hold the control key down, and I'm going to click on this side, and I'm going to make those equal. All right, so now it adjusts those. And now I'm going to say that as soon as I'm going to single click on this line, I'm going to hold down the control key, this line, and this line. I want all of those to be symmetric, meaning they're going to all be the same distance apart. I'm going to do the same for these. Single click, hold down the control key, single click, single click. I want those three lines to be symmetric. And now I'm going to go with, again, single click, hold the control key, this center line, single click, this bottom line, single click, symmetric, and horizontally now. This line, control key, the center line, and this line, symmetric. Okay, good. So there's our two rectangles that are now right in the middle. I do want to get out of properties, and before I exit the sketch, I want to trim out these center pieces. And that's fine, yes. And I want to get rid of all these pieces on the inside until I have a clean cross like that in the middle. And I am done with the trim. And I am going to go to Feature, Extrude Cut. All right, now I want that cut to go in only 2 millimeters. Will only go in 2 millimeters. And I want the degree that this is cut in at a 10 degree. And you can see that that looks good. And check mark. And so we've got a good start to our screw. So now let's go to let's select the front plane over here, and we're going to go just zoom out so we can see what we're doing. Selecting the front plane, I'm going to create a new plane, 17 millimeters up here. So I'm going to go reference up here, reference geometry, and I'm going to click on plane, and I want this plane to be 17 millimeters right here. Double check and make sure that that reference plane is going to be 17 millimeters up from the first one. Check mark. Okay. So I'm going to select this plane, and I'm going to go normal to, but I'm actually going to spin it around, go normal again. So I spin around the other side. So you see I'm now looking at the nose cone end. So let me go normal, normal again. I want to be here. I want to select this edge here, and I want to convert entities. I may have to create a new sketch. Let's see if it'll work. Yep. So I'm going to go on this plane, single click, I'm going to go sketch. And then I'm going to go select this line and go convert entities. Okay, so that converted that line. So we had to do that before we could create the spiral, just like we did with the last screw. So now I'm going to go to Features, Curves, and the Helix Spiral. So you can see there's the Helix Spiral that we have. So under constant pitch, we're going to set the pitch at 2, our revolutions at 10, and our start angle at 0. So once you have all 3 of those, then we're going to come up here to variable pitch. And notice right now how as soon as our screw starts to taper, our spiral no longer is even with the edges of our screw. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable pitch which will allow the size of our spiral or our helix to conform to the size of the screw as we get down closer to the point of the screw. These numbers that I'm going to type in for you, just follow along. We're going to put some numbers in over here. So we're going to start at, instead of 10 here, we're going to start at spiral number, revolution number 6. Okay, and we're going to say that revolution number 6 is at 3. Let's see, is at 3 millimeters. So it's gonna. We're starting with 2 millimeters for our pitch. Revolution number 6 is going to have a diameter of 3, but then revolution number 7 is going to have a revolution of 2.6. We're keeping the 2 millimeter pitch all the way through though. Okay, so 7 has 2.6. We're going to stay with 2 millimeters. Revolution number 8 is going to have a 2.4 pitch. So you can see as we start going down, I'm shrinking the size of the diameter to match the size of the screw. Staying with a pitch of 2 millimeters. Revolution number 9, we're going to drop down to 2 millimeters. Revolution number 10, we're going to drop down to 1 millimeter. We're just going to go one more here. Let's go 2 millimeters, number 11, and we'll also set this at 1 millimeter. Okay, and you can see that we're doing okay. So check mark that we have that spiral with a variable diameter as we get down closer to the point of the tip of the screw. Now we're going to go, let's see, we're going to go to the top plane. And we're going to go normal to the top plane here. I'm going to zoom right up here on the top of this thing. And we're going to create a cut path for, not a cut path, but a what's it called? A design for our thread. It's not really a thread. It's a drilling path. I don't even know what that's called. Is it called a thread on a screw? So let's so we're going to create this sketch. So I'm going to go sketch with a line, and I'm going to start that line kind of right on this part of the helix here. I'm just going to go straight up until I touch the tip of the screw. I'm going to go out. I'm going to create this triangle. Okay. I'm going to dimension this thing. This back line should have a distance of 0.6. And this line should have a distance of 0.75. And I'm done, and I'm going to hold my control key down, and I'm going to select these two lines and say that those two lines need to be equal. Okay. So now there's our, we're going to use that triangle as our screw pattern for our screw. So we're done with that. Let's go up to features. We're going to go sweep boss base, and our pattern is going to be this guy, and our path is going to be our spiral. And if I check mark, you can see that we've created the screw. Now let's hide some things here. Let's go single click on, or right mouse click on this, and I'm going to go hide on that plane. I'm going to do the same thing on this blue line here. I'm just going to single click on that and click on the eyeball to hide. So yeah, we created a good looking screw. Did a nice job on that. So hopefully you can follow those directions to create your own screw, like a wood screw.